Welcome to another edition of our live Zoom session. It is Wednesday, January 16th, and we're going to do our regular two-part series as far as we're going to start with the TA. And right now, I just muted everyone to allow me just some quiet in the background. So when I'm going to the TA, to the charts, I don't have a lot of feedback going on. And once I'm done with the TA, I do welcome you guys to click on the participation box in the bottom, the raise hand button at the bottom of your participation box so you can give me your questions live. And if you're unable to speak, we have a chat box inside of the Zoom session that you can post your questions to, and I will do my best to cover every single one of those questions. Let's go ahead and just get started. Let me make sure I share my screen here. Share. All right, let's go ahead and get started with coin market cap. Let's give a little bit of an overview here. We're down at $121 billion, the overall market cap, and the volume is just sitting right a little bit above $17 billion. The top 10 here, it's kind of neutral. From this morning, not much has changed. We're barely breaking even on these here. We see a little bit of green. The best performer so far out of the top 10 is becoming my favorite coin, Tron. Tron is just a monster, man. I'm really loving this coin. Out of all the coins, the best performer in the past 24 hours so far has been Rep, and I think this morning they were number one as well at 28%. We got AE at 20%, and Power. Wow, Power is having a strong day today at 20%. We're going to have to take a look at Power. We'll look at it in just a little bit. Let me go ahead and just open it up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is not looking too good at the moment. So we are losing the 9 EMA support, and you can see clearly it's starting to come down just a little bit. You can see the MACD is starting to turn bearish on the 1 hour time frame, and the RSI is sitting right at 46 points. Neutral as far as the end of the RSI, which kind of is showing you this terrible candle that I think, what is it, just opened 8 minutes ago. So this candle here is not doing much. We're going to have to wait and see. Let me look at the order book and see where we're at with that. Well, we have a little bit of a gap here going on. So until this gap gets filled in on the order book, not much is going to change in price, since the sellers are willing to sell at 35.76.9. And we have a 35.7692 for the sellers and the buyers. So there's a very small discrepancy, just a couple of cents. But nevertheless, unless we meet in the middle here, not much is going to change for the short term. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, you can see here where look how perfect this resistance is. This old resistance, old support is now becoming new resistance, and this 4 hour candle here shows that rejection here right on that resistance line. We're currently below the 9 EMA, and this candle has a little bit more to go. It doesn't have a timer here on my side here on my chart, but I can't imagine it has too much time left. Maybe it has an hour left on this one here, but it's not looking very good either on the 4 hour time frame. Looking at the 12 hour time frame, not much has changed from this morning. Like I was mentioning before, that we're getting rejected right at the bottom of this wedge support line here. So we need to turn this around. We need some really strong liquidity, as you can see from the wick leaving left behind here on this 12 hour candle, and there's still 3 hours and 50 minutes to go. A lot of the bears just took over this candle here, so we've got to fight through this candle here to break above this wedge line, this old wedge line new resistance. If not, I see another leg down. Possibly we do have a couple of support areas to look for: 35.43 and then 34.77. Looking at the MACD on here, you can see where it started to turn bullish, but this candle has quickly been taken over by the bears. So when this candle closes in about 3 hours and 50 minutes and we don't get any more liquidity into the market, I imagine this uptick and this possible bullish crossing is going to start turning the other way around. Looking at the 1 day time frame, let me just fix this up here. Let me double click in here. You can see here that rejection a little bit more clear. 4 rejections on the 1-day time frame on this lower wedge support now turned resistance, and we're currently under the 9 EMA on the 1-day time frame. So doesn't look good on that on Bitcoin at the moment. We have Ethereum fell below the 9 EMA on the 1-hour time frame. The MACD here is going to be turning bearish if we don't get some liquidity real soon. You can see here from this oscillator, the sell-off going on here. You can see the candles, just a lot of red coming in. So we might be losing this very soon if we don't get some movement back to the upside. As far as finding support here, I would say this area here would be an area here to look for new support. So not too far down. We're at 119.10 around there. If we lose that, then we're coming down to about 116. And there are some areas of support very short in close proximity if we start losing some of these supports. And you can see here to the left why I'm calling these supports. 3 confirmations are usually what I look for, support and resistance line. So here we got resistance, support, and then here we've got 3 touches on support for this line here. So we'll see how that goes in the next few hours. Hopefully when Asia comes online in 3 or 4 hours, that we'll start seeing some movement. We'll know which direction they want to take crypto. They want to take Bitcoin. LTC not looking too strong either. We are above the 9 EMA, but it looks like the momentum has been leaving the market. So nothing really to talk about there. Looking at Tron, Tron has been trying to make some moves to the upside. And as you can see from the coin market cap, it's in the positive, but very, very little. But nevertheless, we do see a little bit of green. But right now, currently, you can see here where it's starting to lose the momentum. You can see here we're going to have a bearish crossover on Tron. So if you guys are holding Tron, keep an eye on that. We are looking at losing the 9 EMA very, very quickly if we don't get some move back in. Now, technically, this is a flag pattern. And let me just let me draw this out here for you guys. So we have the pole here, we have the flag here. So this is a bullish formation, but remember guys, without liquidity, this is not going to play out. So we definitely need to see a move to the upside. RSI is at a great point. It's at 53 points, but that MACD is telling us a way different story. It's starting to turn bearish. So this MACD is going to trump pretty much the RSI and this pattern if we don't get some liquidity to break out of this flag formation. If we do break out of this flag formation, I'm looking at a couple of area of resistance. So this here would be my first area of resistance. As you can see here, it was rejected here, 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 and all these candles were rejected right on this line. So this will be an area that we need to watch for. If we can break this area here, we've got a possible nice little 5-6% run till we reach the previous, well, not the previous swing high, but this high that was posted on the 14th about 2 days ago. So we'll keep an eye on that. As a matter of fact, I want to set some alerts here. Let me set some alerts. If we break out of this flag, I want to get alerted. Boom, there we go. All right, guys, looking at our next coin on NEO. NEO not looking too good, but is posting that it's printing that same type of bullish flag formation here. But the MACD, it has a bearish crossover. Unlike Tron, it hasn't confirmed. The MACD did confirm a bearish crossover here on the oscillators, and you see these red candle bars. So even though you see these flag patterns, doesn't really mean much if we're not going to follow through with volume. So just be cautious with that, guys. When you see these patterns, make sure you wait for confirmation. Wait, draw your trend lines and wait for a break above that flag pattern. If you see a break above that, then you can consider taking a position. It's a lot more safer waiting for confirmation than just hoping that this will play out. So just be careful with that. Icon. Not looking too good either. Very similar to just about everything else. Looking at the MACD here, it's starting to turn bearish. Volume diminishing. RSI pointing down, and you can see here where we're just barely hanging on above the 9 EMA. Looking at our next coin, XLM, we're still sitting inside of these gap lines. So we're inside of this channel created by these old gap lines of support and resistance, and there's not much going on. Look at this low liquidity. Look at this no volatility going on. Look at the MACD is starting to turn bearish. Whenever we see very little volatility, we're always going to start heading downward. We need that support to keep these candles going up. If not, holders start getting nervous. People start selling. They want to make sure that they maximize they minimize their bleeding. So they're going to go ahead and start selling off, and then little by little we start seeing this deteriorate. We do have an area here of strong support, which is this old gap line. I'm going to leave it on purple just to identify that it is a old gap line. But you can see here where it was a strong area of resistance, a good area of support right in here, really tight support, and more than likely we're going to come down and test that one more time. Looking at our next coin is Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is sitting very similar to the rest of them, pretty much going to be testing support very soon if we don't get some liquidity. The MACD is starting to turn bearish, just like everything else. Looking at Bitcoin Cash SV, you can already see where it lost the support of the 9 EMA and it's heading down. Bearish crossover as well on the MACD. Looking at ADA Cardano, we're not looking very good either. Bearish crossover on the MACD, downtick on the RSI, very little volume, actually diminishing volume, and the candle bars are barely hanging on to that 9 EMA. The only thing that I liked here was here's what I posted to you guys a couple of hours ago. I was at the gym, so I only had my phone with me, so I posted that screenshot of the Binance app, and I was looking at this flag formation. You can see here where it broke out of the flag formation, but it's losing some of that momentum. So you had a nice break here of that flag formation. The bears came, took it over, opened up, bulls came. You can see the battle going on between the bears and the bulls. Bulls came, next candle open, and the bulls are trying to fight here. We want to get past this right there. We want to get past this green dotted line where you can see that the bears and the bulls are battling it out. If we can break this dotted line, continue for a run up and a completion of this bull flag would be nice. Let's look at the indicators to see how okay, so we have nice support here on the 9 EMA. We've got we're running really high on that MACD, so I don't like it too much. For the recent we've been in this area in the past, and look, when we reach these areas here, we've been turning bearish, and you can see here where we were turning bearish, then volume started coming in, caused this to turn neutral. That break of the flag formation caused this to go bullish again, but we need some more follow through here on this volume. So we'll keep an eye on this here. I'm going to set an alert if we break that green line. There we go. All right, guys, this is going to conclude our segment of the first part of our TA. For those who want to continue with us, please, I do encourage you guys to participate. Click on the raise hand button at the bottom of your participation box. I will take on some requests, but try to limit your requests, guys. There's not much going on in the market. I don't want to waste a lot of people's time just looking at bear charts over and over again. It looks like, looking at Bitcoin doesn't look very good. And when Bitcoin loses that momentum and that support that it has now, it's gonna continue on the downward trend, pretty much pulling everything else. Looking at the chat box, I don't see any questions, guys. So if you guys don't have any questions, we're gonna end the Zoom session here. I don't have any raised hands or any questions. So I assume you guys are pretty much, power, yes. Thank you, Dominic, thank you. Let me take a look at power. Let me close this chart here. Let me open up power. Let's take a look at that bad boy and see if you guys are in it. See where you can exit. Obviously, there is no point of entering something that already broke out 20%, but at least if you're in it, you can find a target of where to get out. Yeah, beautiful run here. Great support on the 9 EMA. Look at this, guys. You guys are, I want you guys to start recognizing these patterns here. Look at this. Look what happens when we have a bullish move and we start pulling away from the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA reminds this price action, hey, baby, you better come back down, and look what it did. Came right back down, touched it, and continue to move to the upside. And this is the kind of things, when you start seeing these pull-aways, you want to be real cautious that you start moving your stop losses up. The good thing on this here, we're still looking really bullish. Again, we started pulling away here, came right back down, bounced off the 9 for a really nice support here on the 9. The MACD, however, is, it's getting extended. It's starting to want to turn bearish, and I don't blame it. After a 20% run, we're going to see some profit taking. So you can see here where some profit taking was going on. I want to assume that this is going to be some FOMOing. These are guys who are playing the bounce here, but there's not a lot of follow through on this bounce. So be real careful. This is setting up for potential double top. So be very careful. You guys are riding this. Let's see here on these higher time frames. Yeah, looking very dangerous. Look how much it's pulling away from that 9 EMA. So very bullish. Oh yeah, look at that. It had a nice breakthrough on the 200 EMA on the 12-hour time frame. Is currently pushing away. But look at this. RSI overbought. MACD is bullish, but I mean it's getting there. We're losing that momentum. Looking at the 1-day time frame, nice bullish crossover here, reaching overbought. If this is going to continue, I'm going to give it a target of 2873 Satoshis for a target. But in the short term, I do see a correction coming soon after a 20% move like that, and we're starting to lose that momentum. Let's look in here. So we're starting to see that volume diminishing here. You don't see that follow through on this candle, and you're starting to look at this MACD is looking a little dangerous here. So be very careful. And we are inside the overbought territory in the 1-hour time frame. So just something to look at if you guys are in it. If you're not in it, I don't suggest you go in it until you see somewhat of a correction going on, or a retracement, better said. QKC. Okay. Let me refresh. That's the 1 hour. Oh, well, okay. Well, nice little possible. I mean, if this continues, we might see a nice cup and handle going on. Let's look at the indicators. Let's see how this looks like. I like this little swing here. This little swing here is a very bullish pattern to me. As long as we can sustain it. Look at the MACD. Nice swing to the upside. The only problem is that the MACD is not pointing straight up. It's starting to angle out. So you have to be careful with that. Look at the volume here. The volume here is dying off. That's what's causing this to start not really arching too straight up. It's kind of giving a little bit of an incline, which is still good. I mean, still bullish, but we want to see a little bit more follow through. On the 1-hour time frame, where we can see here where we're getting rejected by the 50 and the 30 EMA are pretty much neck and neck here. And if we can break above this here, above the 50 and the 30, we might see a nice swing to the upside. There is a couple of areas here where I would just keep in mind this area here, 3 touches confirmation, some resistance here. If we can break through that, we got a pretty good. We just can have a pretty nice run. I don't see any 3 confirmations any longer for some resistance and support. So I want to call this is not. This one maybe might be a target here, but we might see a very nice cup and handle forming here. So keep an eye on it. Put an alert right above here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that so that I can know when this runs. I'll keep you guys updated since we looked at it here. Let's look at ZIL by request. It has a mainnet according to, let me look at the chat box. According to Packboy22, there is a mainnet at the end of the month. Oh, thank you, Yak. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Zill looking at the 1 hour time frame. Oof. Okay. So nice run, nice consolidation. Remember, guys, this is, you know what? Let me pull this. Let me pull up this indicator here. I want to show you. When usually you'll hear me say, if we don't get a retracement, I want to see a consolidation above solid support in order to see these indicators cool down. So these indicators are going to cool down in two ways. One, by a retracement, obviously come right down, and that's the quickest way. Come down, hit a retracement, hit a nice fib level 618 for another move to the upside. If not, I want to see sideways consolidation above strong support. The 200 EMA here is what I'm looking for, strong support, and it held the price action beautifully, allowing the price action to bounce and continue for the upside. And look, this consolidation allowed the MACD to again reset itself right for this bounce here. Then we saw a little bit of profit taking. Then we see another bounce and a nice strong move to the upside. Being that this has a mainnet coming up, I imagine, and Zill has a very strong community, that we're going to probably see this continue to move to the upside as we approach that mainnet. Looking at the higher time, some of the 1 and the 4 hour time frames, the MACD are a little bit overextended. So just be real careful. I'm looking for a correction here on the short term. And look at this move on the 4 hour time frame. We have not had a correction here on the 4 hour time frame. So it is pulling away from that 9 EMA. We're dangerously close to seeing this, get a nice retracement down here. So just keep an eye on that. On the higher time frames, you can see here we're on the 6 hour time frames. We are overbought, and the MACD is starting to reach the previous kind of highs. And if we don't get enough, and you can see the sell-off going on these past 12 hours, going and measuring these candle bars. Looking at the 12 hour, it looks a little bit better on the MACD. The RSI is pointing down, but that's okay. That's only representing this current candle bar, but we are sitting at 65 points, plenty of room still to move to the upside. I like the pattern of this. I like seeing this stair-step action going on. I much rather see this than a straight parabolic move, because a straight parabolic move usually means a hard crash. The harder we move up, the stronger we're going to come down. So allowing profit taking and some nice consolidation, move up, profit taking gives it a really nice, strong organic growth. How far can this continue to go? That I don't know, guys. I mean, events, look at this, perfect. We are hitting that 200 EMA right on the money. What a great target to look at on the 1 day time frame. Now it's really going to depend on the FOMO, guys, and it's going to depend on the MA. So the market analysis going on. I wouldn't say I guess FA has a little bit to play with it, because a mainnet is part of the fundamentals of Zill, meaning that it's going to start launching its own, its own mainnet. So keeping an eye on FA and MA on this here is what's going to let us know if this is going to continue to run. We are looking very, very dangerously close to a double top here. We've got the fractal here on the 1 day time frame. Look at this perfect formation so far. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but you want to keep this in mind. If you have not gotten into Zill and you want to FOMO into this and you want to try to scalp, what I would recommend you do is see a clear break of the 200 EMA and wait for a confirmation before entering a trade that has already clearly run up and hit a very important target. This is a very, very hard target to breach on the 1 day time frame. If we look to the left, let me zoom into this here. Look at this. We have not. This is a new project, so we don't have a lot of data utilizing the 200 EMA. But that would be the first time, if we break above the 200, it'll be the first time that we actually breach that 200 from the data that we have now. So I would wait for confirmation on that, guys. Let me look at the chat box. You're welcome, Packboy. You're welcome, Rora. A QKC. Okay, yeah, definitely. When my alert goes out, Crypto Siraj, I'll post it over on Discord. And if you don't see me post at any time today, just send me a reminder on Discord, and I'll do my best to keep up with QKC. Oh, you're playing this. Okay. When did you get in? Oh, thank you, Yak. Thank you. When did you get in, Crypto Siraj? Let me take a look. Let me go back here. QKC. Let me look at. Let me look at here. All right. So, okay. Crypto Siraj, I would just be very careful that we don't lose this 9 EMA. I'm not sure when you got in on this here, but be real careful here that we don't lose this 9 EMA. If we lose this 9 EMA, we do have historical support on the 100 MA. So you can see where the 100 MA has acted as very strong support. If we lose that, we're more than likely coming down to this 200 EMA. Now, I don't know if there's anything going on with QKC, any news, any mainnet, anything going on that's going to cause us to run up. So a lot of these BTC pair coins are running up randomly, as you can see from the morning briefs and the coin market cap coverage. They are running, and this is a nice formation so far. So just be careful with that. Keep your stop losses nice and tight. You got in at 960 sats, so you got in. Oh wow, you got in. Oh wow, you got in at the bottom of this. Okay, did you take profit on this, Mr. Siraj? I hope you took profit on this here, on this big move to the upside, and you didn't hold this all the way back down. So 960 is all the way down here. So yep. So you must have caught this, right? You must have caught this. You must have caught this play right here and bought in there. All right. Well, if you didn't take profit on here, hopefully this will continue to move up and create a cup and handle. Anisha, could you please throw us some light on how you buy orders, how buy orders work? Let's say I have a buy order on ONT at 30 cents. Buy order placed in November 15th, and the other guy placed the same buy order on ONT at 30 cents on November 15th. Whose order get filled first? You know what? I don't know, Anisha. I really don't know. I would imagine it's first come, first serve, or I think it would also have to do not only with that, but the size of your order. So say, for instance, you have an order of, say you have a $10,000 order, and the guy who placed it before you has a $100,000 order, but there's not enough. There's only $20,000 in order. I imagine your order is going to get filled before his order gets filled. That's what I would assume, but I don't know how Binance or an exchange, better for that matter, prioritizes that. If they won't fill your order until he gets completely filled, or if it's done by order size. So I really don't know. It's a great question. I got a buddy of mine who works for Binance. I'm going to send him a shout out and see if I'll send him a DM and see if on Twitter and see if he can answer that. First in, first out. Okay. Barry said it should be first in, first out. But all right, yeah, that would make sense. But I don't know if they actually honor that or not. All right, guys. No other questions. Does Mr. Mo, did you want to add anything before I close out the show?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for your participation. I really do appreciate it. I will keep you guys updated on Discord, and tomorrow morning I will have another morning brief show for you guys recorded and posted around 9 o'clock hour or so, maybe a little bit earlier. But thank you guys. Trade safe.